Well, welcome to Stuff Lovers, the show that still doesn't have a theme song, but may eventually.
I mean, I think we're doing okay without it. I mean,
Yeah, it's, I'm doing great at not mentioning it every single time. Um, but yeah, so we're back for another episode. This time, not really about. It's not about a movie or TV show. This ain't gonna be about Firefly, folks. This is some real life shit. The O.J. Simpson trial. Yeah,
it did air on TV.
that's
So
just true.
it's a little bit TV.
It like I said, we're rolling down in the mud like everybody else, getting our sensationalism on. Okay, it's fine. Everybody else does it. We're gonna do it too. So, I'm pretty excited about it. I've been very into the TV show, insanely. I hate Ryan Murphy TV shows. I hate them. I hate Glee. Fuck Glee. Oh my god, I hate Glee with all of my heart. I truly hate it. And then American Horror Story. My mom and my sister watch that, and it comes on, and it records, and I just have to sit through it. And it just makes me furious. I hate Ryan Murphy, but I love American Crime Story.
It definitely has really caught me too.
You pro Ryan Murphy, Ben? You like that Ryan Murphy work?
I mean, other than what you've mentioned, I mean, what he did Nip Tuck,
Yeah.
I don't really know what his full body of work is.
Could forget Nip Tuck, the show that made plastic surgery into a Bravo drama or E or whatever channel that was on.
FX still.
It was FX. Yeah. Okay.
That was one of their first hits.
Yeah, FX they're all about that edge. But anyway, so our guest today is someone very close to me, and I love her dearly, and she's my mom. It's Mindy Carmichael.
Hi.
She's probably the big link for me to the OJ case. She was very into it when I was a little kid. I was 4 years old when this was all happening, and Mom was super into it. Right, Mom, you're distracted by your phone.
Exactly.
She's looking at facts.
I was super into it because you guys were, I think, 3 years old. Actually,
No, we were 4 because it was
4?
94. Yeah,
Okay, all right.
It was
They're
June
very
94.
small. Very small.
Yeah, little whippersnappers. Me and Robin, my sister, my twin sister, and my brother was 6. So she had just 3 little kids in tow. Nice.
And it came out in the news, of course,
Little white
that
family
Nicole
following
Brown
OJ.
Simpson and Ronald Goldman had been, stabbed to death, and it looked like it was O.J. Simpson that was guilty. And then suddenly the next day, O.J. Simpson, there was a Bronco chase.
Yeah. It was, it kind of just exploded. Every part of it, it's just nothing's like it ever in history. Everything went wrong. And it's also there's still doubt there at the end of the day. Even if there's just a little tiny bit of doubt.
There's no doubt.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that it's no one saw it though. So it's I think that he definitely did it though. I'm just saying.
Let's be realistic. There was blood all over the place that linked him to the crime.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Mom's very Yeah, and he was he's
he
a
had
terrible person.
bloody socks with her and Ronald Goldman's blood in the sock on his bedroom floor.
He beat the shit out of her just all the time. Very, very sad, heavy stuff that just kind of it blew up and the reason why I keep saying the reason why I think it blew up is because it was the summer. It was June. And no one had any new Seinfeld to watch. Oh wait, I think maybe Seinfeld was new then and it was playing during the summer, but whatever. But there wasn't much on TV, so that was the time for a summer blockbuster to take everybody by storm.
What else were you gonna watch? I can't think of a '94 movie. Clerks.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna go see Clueless at the. I don't think Clueless was happening yet either. Jurassic Park, that was out.
Yeah.
That, you know.
You want to watch dinosaurs or you want to watch a Bronco chase? Come on.
Toy Story, was that 94 or 95?
95.
Okay. Well, you know, that was still going on, so Toy Story's...
Yeah, so I mean, it was a big deal, and then plus when Marcia Clark was assigned to prosecute it, it was really, I thought that, you know, it was like the deciding factor. Here was a woman that was going to prosecute him for the crime that he committed.
You know, abusing his wife, and you know, the evidence was all there, and Marcia Clark, super. We'll talk about her for sure, because I love Marcia Clark a ton. But I want to go through really quick your fan history with the O.J. Simpson thing, so we can expand on some of the stuff we've talked about a little bit. So when did you get into the O.J. Simpson trial? Like, what was the moment that grabbed you?
Well, from the first, I knew when it was going to be. It was going to be on live on Court TV, and Court TV was kind of a. When
was that approved? Like when
it was approved.
Ito approved it.
Yeah,
right?
Ito approved it pretty quickly, and there was a lot of controversy because they knew he'd be playing to the cameras, and he did play to the cameras.
But I know, but we talked about the Bronco chase. That was like, you were into that.
Yeah, I was into the Bronco chase. In fact, you guys, I took you over the bridge. I mean, the day the Bronco chase was happening, and I had you all lined up. If only I had that video available. But there you were as little 4-year and 6-year-olds. You had your arms behind your back with no justice, no peace.
Oh yeah, that was okay. We weren't at a bridge during the Bronco chase. It was shortly after the Bronco chase, and there was a guy who was going to jump off the bridge. And, there's a home video of Mom took us to this for some reason. And, like, we're children. I don't remember this at all. I don't remember, like, as anybody going to jump. And then she, like, joked around and made us do a sit-in, no justice,
everybody
no
was
peace.
talking about OJ. It was on everybody's lips. Everybody was talking about OJ then.
And then I think Robin said "free the juice" or something.
Yeah, I had you repeat whatever I said. Free the juice. No justice, no peace.
Yeah, well, you're a big Howard Stern fan too, so I'm sure.
Yeah, I listened to his commentary every day, which was hysterical during the trial. It was great.
Yeah.
It made it even better.
Yeah.
So I'd listen to his broadcasts, and I'd watch Court TV. And
it was just it was everywhere. I mean, everybody was talking about it.
Jay Leno had the dancing Itos on.
But the thing I was specifically remembering though was the Bronco chase when we were at that bank.
I was at the bank, and there was the Bronco chase was going on, but it was more at home, and I came home, and I told your dad that I thought that O.J. Simpson was in trouble, and Robin came up, and she tugged on my leg, and she goes, "Homer Simpson's in big trouble, Mom."
Yeah. Robin thought Homer Simpson was on trial for eating donuts too often. I don't know.
Definitely the most egregious crime.
Oh yeah, I was like, I go to eating donuts too often, mishandling nuclear materials probably constantly.
Strangling his children
constantly. Strangling his children. Oh God. Okay. Well, drinking and driving, I'm sure a few times, Homer. Let's be honest.
And quite frankly, I don't believe that Kardashian ever opened up that bag and found nothing in that bag. I still think that there was some bloody evidence.
So now you're referring to the TV show scene with David Schwimmer.
I'm referring to the realistic.
No. But the David Schwimmer as Robert Kardashian on the TV show, they addressed the bag controversy. Which here's the thing: if you don't know this, Robert Kardashian, he's like the father of the Kardashians. He was best friends with O.J. Simpson, during the trial, and he, at the very beginning of the trial, whenever the Bronco chase happened, O.J. was staying at Robert Kardashian's house, and so, when he first escaped, with the Bronco, there was a moment where they caught Robert Kardashian walking out with the suitcase that he had brought with him to the house.
It was a garment bag.
It was a garment bag, and it was like a Louis Vuitton, super luxe garment bag, and there's no one ever checked into what was in that bag. No one, the police never asked about it. On the show, they claim that Robert opened it and there was nothing in it, but I don't think that ever happened. Or if it did happen, they never like talked about it. The show.
I don't think it ever happened.
Dramatizes a lot of stuff, but it is it is interesting to note that it was like probably as it kind of went on that Robert Kardashian sort of switched his opinion because he thought he was very behind OJ. And then he kind of, and it might have been Kris, because Kris Jenner was very,
Robert Kardashian proved to be not that bright and kind of a dupe.
My favorite thing is on the show they have a scene where, and I guess this really happened, he went out for Father's Day brunch with his children, and so like all the little Kardashians are there, and like they're all just like amazed because everyone knows who he is because he just read the suicide note, and because that was another thing I don't know if I mentioned that for people who don't know. O.J. Simpson, when he left in the Bronco, he left behind a suicide note, and Robert Kardashian read it at like a press conference, and so that's kind of how he became like he started circling this case. Everyone who was involved in this case kind of became like a celebrity. And so he,
and you admire Robert Shapiro because I think he truly believed that OJ was guilty, and he wanted to plea bargain it, but
I know. I don't know.
Johnny Cochran took over and made it a race issue.
Robert Shapiro is also not like a great person, though.
No, he's not.
Yeah, we'll
but
talk.
He would have gone to prison if it would have been.
But but the thing with Robert Kardashian though is it's the suitcase. You kept bringing this up before they even talked about it on the show, and so I thought it was some fringe bullshit. Like I thought Alex Jones said it or something in a podcast, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, a suitcase!" But yeah, no, that really did happen. There was a suitcase, and it was supposedly just what OJ had brought when he went to stay at the house. So they didn't think, but it was like, okay, yeah, there could have definitely been evidence of that.
Plus, Kato Kalin was such a surfer dude who did nothing, and then he lied for OJ and said they went to go get In-N-Out Burger, which was a complete lie. They were going to get drugs at Burger King or something.
If I was someone in the OJ case, though, I feel like I'd be Kato Kalin. Like I identified with him super hard on the TV show. Whenever they knock on the door and they're like, "Is OJ Simpson here?" And he's like, "What? I'm not like an official person." I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally with you, Kato." I'd be like so I live in this mansion's whatever guest house, like rent free. But yeah, I mean, Kato Kalin was a mess. He was definitely really high. Who knows on what he could have been on,
And I didn't realize the thing about Robert Shapiro sneakily trying on those gloves during the recess of the trial.
Now you're just jumping all over the trial. Calm down, Mom. So we kind of went through that already. And we talked about this a little bit, but what was it? I mean, what was it like? You said that it was sort of hard to follow the trial, with 3 little kids.
It was because I couldn't watch it all day long, obviously. Mm-hmm. I had to go tend to children, unfortunately. You just can't leave them alone for hours at a time.
And Cole was in kindergarten, right? So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd walk down, catch the bus, and all that. Well,
we went to the beach a lot because it was when we lived in Oceanside.
It happened in Oceanside, but we moved to Fallbrook.
Well, that was when the trial
happened.
Yeah, and Fallbrook was more up in the mountains, and so we needed more attention. Because one time I remember that when we lived in that mountain house, we went down to the creek and there was just a super dangerous whirlpool. Just it looked so scary, and we had to cross. We had that tiny bridge to get to the bus stop. Remember that?
Yes. It
was so much fun. I loved that creek. But yeah, I remember the OJ trial pretty heavily from that time. I mean, not pretty heavily. I didn't understand the intricacies of it at all. I just knew that it was happening and that you were into it.
Right.
So, yeah, and I mean, now watching it, it amazes me because it's Marcia Clark was this, this really strong cool mom who was like juggling this divorce and like trying to, you know, get justice for Nicole and Ron Goldman, and it just kind of blew up in her face.
Right,
and
it turned into a trial about racism and still about
and
guilt.
sexism was involved very heavily too. I mean, you know, Marcia Clark was kind of dragged through the fucking mud because she posed nude once for a photo or something.
Well, the problem with Marcia Clark is she needed somebody like herself to handle the children when they got home. I mean, all the men had wives to fix supper and take care of the children, but Marcia Clark had to prosecute the trial. And she had to take care of her children, and she had to juggle babysitting schedules.
Which is what she says in her big speech on the show, on the TV show that Sarah Paulson as Marcia Clark. I'm making a little kiss, like a Italian kiss thing. I know you can't see it, but that's what it is. It's so good. There's this moment where Ito they're all just being kind of sexist. Like, she has to leave early to deal with her kids. And Johnny Cochran makes some shitty comment, and she is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a fucking wife at home to like deal with my kids." And they're like, they kind of shut him up, and then Ito let her go. And you know, I follow the interviews with Marcia Clark, you know, at this point, and she says it was pretty accurate, and no one wanted to touch the sexism of the trial.
No, and nobody wanted to touch the problem with the jury being sequestered all that time too, and they were very frustrated. I understand their upsetness at the whole matter, and they were privy to what was going on from their spouses and their significant others.
It was a mess, but that was kind of the defense's fault.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, drew out all of these elements that didn't have anything to do with the case at hand. Well, I believe
they spent they didn't show it in the TV show, but they did spend 1 to 2 weeks on DNA evidence, and they bored the crap out of people. It was so boring. DNA evidence was new at that time, and people didn't understand it. And they just wanted to leave.
People are stupid. It just goes to show how stupid people are.
They made a big deal about the transfer of the blood vials. And
that's true, and I mean, that was what Barry Sheck was brought in to do. He was one of the defense attorneys for O.J. Simpson. He was brought in to not try and just disprove all of the DNA evidence. And some of it was just like, it's fucking Bill Bellafleur from True Blood. He's playing that Detective Lang, you know? And he took the he took the bloody glove home in his trunk, right? Like overnight?
Yeah, I believe so.
And it was like, what the fuck?
They just didn't think of things like that at that time.
I know, they didn't know that they would be scrutinized for it.
Yeah, DNA evidence was new.
And also that case was insane. They were kind of like, the thing is, the LAPD liked O.J. Simpson. They didn't want it to be O.J. Simpson at first. They didn't. And so that was why all the incompetence... That's the ironic thing. That's why there was so much incompetence in the beginning. Because they were like, we don't want it to be
They
O.J.
never prosecuted him when they called him over to the house. You had to file charges against a man if they tried to beat you up. And that's the thing that I believe came out of that trial.
Yeah, 10 times they were called to her house. They never filed any charges till the 10th time.
But after that happened, I think now they just haul the abuser in and they make him sit for 48 hours now, no matter what. You don't have to press charges to get them put away for a while.
See, that's good. That's good because that's insane. It makes me so sad. Those 911 tapes must have been like insane too. Like, what was that like when those came out?
They were horrifying. I mean, they showed her beaten to a pulp. She was black and blue. And
well, no, not the pictures, but the tapes of her calling.
The tapes, but no, they had pictures of her. They had pictures of her also, and she'd been beaten to a pulp.
Yeah. That's true too. They did. Yeah.
And that was what was really sad about it. And what was even worse was watching this TV show and seeing OJ rejoice over that, saying, "Oh, I was framed after all." And he knew damn good and well he wasn't framed.
Oh, because the defense, you know, as the defense was coming up with stuff, he was like, I was framed. I don't know.
I mean, the big joke has been he's been on the golf course for years trying to find that killer. Never located him. Which they haven't made a deal about that yet either, but they made a big deal about it at the trial about how he didn't have enough strength in his arms to even pulled a knife across her throat.
Oh yeah, and then they showed but they had the exercise. He made an exercise video 2 weeks before, the whole thing even happened.
It's just so frustrating, and the only thing that's kept it alive is Ron Goldman's dad has really pursued him.
He was not okay with that, and that was cool. On the show, I feel bad. He's kind of like this. He's like an old white man with a mustache and white hair, and he's just like constantly crying. Oh, which I get because his son's dead, but he's just like, my son is dead. It's like his whole character. Sorry, listeners, I'm sure that was really loud in your ears.
But the thing
sorry
was,
also for the sound in the background. That's our dogs.
Ron Goldman wouldn't have been dead if it just would have been 10 minutes later or 10 minutes sooner. He wouldn't have been dead. Mm-hmm. That's what was very. I know. Very heart-wrenching.
The whole thing. I mean, like, there's still like speculation about why he was going to visit her so late. But like, because he was
maybe
returning
he had a
her
crush on her.
He was returning her glasses, and then no one knows if they're gonna. It doesn't matter if they were gonna have sex. She can have sex with whoever the fuck she wants. He had a girlfriend. O.J. Simpson had a girlfriend. Okay, so whatever. But I mean, it's like that's what they maintain though, is that he seriously was just returning glasses, and that would be the saddest thing if there wasn't like he was just like randomly
being friendly.
Yeah, just being like a nice dude. But I don't know. The
only thing that makes me feel good is O.J. Simpson is locked up, and I hope he doesn't get out until he dies. He's got 33 years in prison, and I hope that he serves every year of that prison sentence.
I mean, the evidence points to him doing it, so I can't disagree.
So if he wasn't punished for that one, he's being punished for this robbery now. Mm-hmm. And I had the fortune of driving by that this summer when I drove back from California. Drove by the prison where he was located and just happened to look it up, and it was lucky. It was like, good, OJ's out there in the middle of nowhere.
Every OJ Simpson case fans, ultimate a full circle moment is like, good. You got what you deserved.
You did.
Unless I guess you're somebody who thinks he didn't do it.
I'm not sure who thinks.
Justice not served.
Well, I mean, it's for a different crime, so it's still justice served.
Yes.
So he did do that second crime. We know that.
No, but let's keep him in jail for the full 33 years till he's dead.
Okay, so let's go through some favorites in the case. Who's your favorite figure in the case?
Marcia Clark.
Marcia Clark, for sure. We talked about her. She's super trill, super cool lady.
Right, and I had no idea of all the trouble she was going through. I just thought that it was so unfair that she was constantly being held up for her hairstyle, for what she wore, for the the topless pictures, which. If I was that age and I was on that island, I would have done the same thing in the late 1970s.
She wasn't held to the same standard. And even though she, wasn't responding to the stuff about, her personal life, Johnny Cochran, when he went through the same thing, didn't respond, and then they just gave up. But with Marcia Clark, they just kept finding new things to nitpick about her. It was kind of horrifying. It was like, it was like people complaining before they even were like, oh, she's not going to get it done. Of course, it was like this casual sort of sexism. Not casual sexism, just, probably
it was casual sexism towards her, and that's the way women are still treated in many respects.
Yeah, it's true. And it's super fucked up. And Chris Darden, too, after watching the show, I feel terrible for him.
I do. I feel worse for him, and I was so angry with him. I never read his book. I was so angry at him.
About the glove?
About the glove, but now I found out the truth. And
Marcia Clark, on the show, they make it seem like Marcia didn't want it to happen, but Marcia wanted him to try the glove on.
Yes.
She thought, too, it was a mistake that they both made. And he also was definitely, OJ was he was feigning Like, they let him put it on. They should have had somebody else put it on
They
his
had
hand.
they had those.
I know, but they should have had
gloves.
somebody else, like, put it on him. They had him put
They had
it
the
on.
latex gloves, and then they had him put it on.
Yeah, and he was, when he was putting it on, he was faint. Like, you can see he was like a little fucking groundling, like,
yes,
improv
like,
actor.
it doesn't
like,
fit.
It
doesn't fit.
Blurp, blurp. Yeah, we know you were in the Naked Gun, O.J. Simpson. You got the skills. But yeah, so Marcia Clark definitely. I, gotta go with my boy Kato Kalin still. I identify with him mad hard.
No. I don't even know what he's doing now.
He was paid off at In-N-Out cheeseburgers, which I relate to very hard. I think that would be the downfall to me. And he's at this point it's funny because he's kind of like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on. He's just like, I don't know. Okay, Ben, who do you relate with in the trial?
Relate with?
Like, who's your favorite person? I guess.
I mean, my favorite person is Marcia, but yeah.
You just gotta
I probably don't really feel like I'm a Marcia, but
yeah.
But you kind of got to go with her. All the adversity that she went through was just horrible.
And she's great still. I watched her on The View. Damn girl, sitting down there with DJ from Full House, and That's So Raven, and Joy Behar. Get out, Joy Behar. Like, come on. Just, why are you still there? Not that I hate Joy Behar, but I just feel bad for her. I'm like, I wouldn't want to go in and do an episode of The View every day. But I've seen her, and she's been doing lots of interviews, and people call her a media whore because they're like, you're a media whore. But it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. It's like
There's always two standards.
She became a huge part of this case too, and it's like she's one of the only people who's still left who will openly talk about it because the defense can't really talk about it because
Gil Garcetti is still there, and you will not hear a peep out of him. I'll bet you anything.
Yeah, Gil Garcetti probably doesn't talk about. She's a novelist now, by the way. Marcia Clark. She's a crime novelist, and so people call her a media whore, and it's like, I'm sorry, like. I call her a media, like, she had a fucking perm, and everybody held that against her, like, that was for the defense. The defense got that. Marcia Clark has a perm, so there's no way OJ's gonna get convicted. Whatever. Okay, so what was your favorite moment in the trial? Your favorite moment of all?
My favorite
It's
moment.
not like a happy, positive thing, I know, but like a moment that captivated you.
The moment that captivated me mainly was when Chris Darden had him try on the glove because it was so fake, and I just wanted to go up there and just go, pull on that glove. That glove has got to fit.
Yeah,
He's being a jerk.
In blood. It had been frozen. Yeah. Caked in blood, had been frozen. Like, goddamn, it's, I don't know. It makes me sad because that was a huge mistake that Marcia and Chris made. Especially since, we talked about this, you mentioned this at the beginning, that Robert Shapiro tried on the glove. On the TV show, but right before the glove scene where OJ tries on the glove, there's a scene where Robert Shapiro goes and tries on the glove and sees it doesn't fit his hand. So he brings it back or he doesn't bring it back, he comes back and talks to them and he's like, let's have him try it on, blah, 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 blah. And then
he puts his hand up next to OJ, and it's just as big.
Yeah. And so that's how they're like, oh, okay. But in real life, they all tried the glove on. Like, I don't know why they changed that. I guess it was more exciting to make it seem like Robert Shapiro thought of it. But I don't know. I don't think they know who thought of it. But they were passing it around at the defense table and all trying it on. Including, Johnny Cochran, Effley Bailey, the whole defense team. So it wasn't just Robert Shapiro. They all knew that
the other thing that annoyed me was when they went on the tour of the house. They did that just for publicity reasons. Everybody knew that Ito did that so he could look real great when he went out. And he said, oh, we're letting the jury out to look at the house. And they go into the house, and you knew it wasn't anything like OJ had that house. He had nothing to do with the black community whatsoever. Yeah. He distanced himself from the black community.
The thing about the OJ house that Mom's talking about is they had the jurors come and look at his Rockingham estate, and the defense attorneys had definitely tampered with it. I mean, they changed around a lot of the art. They changed around photographs. There was a lot of photographs of him with white people, and so they switched them out with photos of him and his family. Because the jury was primarily people of color, it was sort of like a, the defense playing on the racial bit just as badly as, they were arguing, well, not maybe just as badly, but they were playing the same game the LAPD did whenever they were racial profiling people. So it's like, what was the whole race thing? It's good, and Marsha Clark even says that now. It's good that they brought it up. It really is. It deserved to be talked about, and it was because of the Rodney King riots, and it was because of the Rodney King. He was found not guilty, and that was fucked up, and that was still on people's minds. And it's sad that OJ got off because of that, but I get why they were bringing it up. I get why Johnny Cochran was pissed off. Mm-hmm. So.
The thing that was good though was last summer when I was in LA, Cole indulged me and we went to the Brentwood estate, and then we went over to where Nicole and Ron were killed, and I got to see that. So he had to do it fast. There was still a wooden fence there, and you could see the bushes were there, and he had to do it fast and get out quick. But it's pretty secluded. And
I mean, there's so much evidence. I mean, the lady who saw him speeding away in his Bronco, like minutes after the murder.
Yeah,
come on, and she by the way, she didn't talk at the trial because she sold her story to some bullshit tabloid
National
news
Enquirer,
thing.
I think.
Yeah, no, I think hers was like on the TV. It was like an entertainment news. And so that was actually Marsha's decision though. That they shouldn't have those people on the witness stand because they were media whores.
That's because she didn't know that the world had changed and it become.
But the thing is,
entertainment.
We don't live in the world where she put them on the stand. If she did, that might have been also brought up. Like these people, like I'm sure that the defense would have brought that up. Did you sell your story to this magazine? I did. Well, are you just doing this for attention and money?
Well, in the same way, the Faye Resnick thing blew up in their face.
Yeah, I mean, Faye Resnick was Nicole Brown's best friend, and she wrote a novel. She dictated a novel, basically, during the trial, before the trial had even
about started. The Brentwood hello. And
about her relationship with Nicole and OJ, and it was very racy. There was lots of sex stuff and drugs, lots of cocaine, and that was what the defense used that sort of as they exploited that phase drug because that was their main argument is that it was Colombian drug dealers.
Right. They went after.
They thought they were killing Faye Resnick, but they ended up killing Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown. Which reminds me that's something that I guess is interesting to note is that they are pretty sure Nicole was killed first because she she was not disturbed. Oh, there wasn't anything on her feet. So he must have killed her right as she came out the door.
Right, and there were defense wounds on Ron Goldman, so he fought for his life.
Yeah, and Ron Goldman fought. So who knows if OJ jumped out on him, if Ron Goldman accidentally walked in on the moment, or what, But that's just interesting to know. There's just so many. The case is just insane. It's like those. I mean, like the John Benet Ramsey cases. Also, I was reading about that the other day. I was like, God damn!
That is a lot different, though. They didn't have the killer. They do have the killer.
I know. What I'm saying is, like, the evidence is, like, it's interesting. And then, I mean, you throw in everything else, the sexism, the racism that was pervading the trial. And then Mark Furman, as... How unlucky was that he was the guy who found the glove, Well, how unlucky.
Yeah, I know, and there was a lot of people like that, and they just turned it around to make it look like that he was brilliant.
Yeah, but he was super racist, so they were right. He was super fucking racist.
He was racist, but he didn't do anything wrong.
No, I know. I don't think that he had it's like Marcia Clark says. There's just like it's not physically impossible that they would have performed this conspiracy. It's just not possible. Like if you look at the facts, they would have had to do it, manufacture it so quickly, and it's just too. It's relying on too much bullshit.
And not when they always protected OJ. Every time he was protected.
Yeah, they stood up for OJ, and like I don't know, but anyway, Mark Furman though, he was a massive piece of shit. He was sexist to himself. Mm-hmm. So why does he give a shit if someone's beating his wife? He hated Ito's wife. That was the thing that happened last week, is that came out that Mark Furman did know Ito's wife and she lied. She was a police chief that worked. Mark Furman is the guy who found the glove. Is like what I'm saying. He's the one that they found out was super racist because he met with a screenwriter like 15 or 20 years before the trial, talking about his experience as a police officer on the LAPD force.
And he exaggerated
a lot. He didn't exaggerate. He was telling... No, he didn't. He was telling his experience, and he was super racist, Mom.
He exaggerated.
He's super racist. He's so racist. He said that they made him racist, and that black people... that if he convicted the wrong black person of a crime, it's okay because that's just another criminal behind bars. He was super racist, and he said the N-word just constantly. And he lied at the beginning of that case and said that he hadn't. And I mean, it's fucked up. Mark Furman is a huge reason, I think, that the case turned, into him, OJ not being innocent. That gave them substance to their conspiracy theory.
But also,
even if the conspiracy is physically impossible, that made people on the trial think, and especially the people who had experienced institutionalized racism. I'm sure it was easy to,
But it was also easy. They were so upset. They were pissed off, and they returned that verdict in less than 40 minutes, 45 minutes or something, because they were so irritated with being locked up.
I know. I think it was kind of like, it felt like a fuck you.
Yeah.
To the whole proceedings almost. But it wasn't. I mean, like, the people the three women who wrote the book, they really said that they had doubt. They had doubt. So they were like, well, I can't convict him if I have doubt. But that's not reasonable doubt. Any doubt isn't reasonable doubt. There wasn't reasonable doubt. They just blew up the racism thing, and it gave them substance to their conspiracy theory, and then they blew apart all the DNA evidence.
And then they were all tired of sitting in the same room talking about it.
That's true.
They were fine.
They were tired of being jerked around for 18 months and not be able. The jurors weren't allowed to watch TV. Like, they weren't allowed to talk to their family except, like, one day a week. And they weren't allowed to talk about the trial. It was kind of like they were in prison. It was like the LAPD was constantly watching them. It was pretty fucked up. Mm-hmm. And it becomes... It's sort of... The racism factor is so... It's so throughout that case. Like, at the beginning... we're going to try him where it had taken place, but it was primarily white. And so they were like, this is going to look terrible. So they put it downtown, and so that there would be more people of color in the mix. But then it was like, okay, you kind of are holding these people of color like prison in a hotel for months. So it's like, it's very strange, like the whole thing. And then the jurors really did wear black at that one point to protest the case. And the whole... I mean, I can't believe... I didn't know that there was almost a mistrial. That was something that I learned from the show.
That's...
Because of Ito's wife knowing Mark Furman, there was almost a mistrial.
If only they would have had a mistrial, he would have been convicted.
No, but but Marsha made a good point. If they had a mistrial, it could have gone into double jeopardy, and he could have argued against being tried again. He could have said, well, this was your fault. This wasn't my fault. So she was right. He could have argued that, and he might have won. So it was better to just keep going. It was the only option. I feel bad for Marsha because she reminds me of Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead. She had to make a bunch of very shitty decisions, and they didn't go well.
Yeah, and no matter what, nobody's happy.
Like, she didn't bring up the Bronco chase at all. Like, she didn't bring up that. She didn't bring up the...
And they could have, because that showed evidence of guilt.
Yeah, because he had disguises and money, like in a suitcase. They didn't bring that up at all, but she really wanted it to just. She was like, "We have the evidence. We don't need to do all this other showy shit that the defense is doing." That was Marsha Clark's aim.
But he didn't know. She
And it
didn't
didn't
realize the world had changed. It
It's
become
true.
tabloid ridden.
Well, and that whole case became the media just fucked it. It was kind of like the George Zimmerman trial. It was like he'd already been tried by the media, or what's his face of making a murderer. You know, by the things the media was saying, he'd already been tried, you know, and guilty. So kudos making a murderer, that's good too. We need to do an episode about that. Anyway, so let's see. What do you have any fan theories about the case at all? No.
Fan theories? I can't imagine anybody. I've never talked to anyone who thinks that OJ is innocent. But then again, I don't have a ton of black friends, so I don't know.
I mean, that is true that
because it seems
there are
struck
a lot of
along racial lines.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. Like, there's a lot of institutionalized racism.
Still, I have worked with a lot of people of color, and everybody I've ever talked to feels that OJ is guilty, and I can't help but think that jury that convicted him in Las Vegas was thinking of that trial in LA, and they used that, you know.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knew about it. Yeah. There would be no way. Okay, so let's move on. I want to do a little trivia real quick. This is so cool. I found this web page from 1997. It's a web page on physics.unlv, the University of Las Vegas. I don't know.
I think so.
It probably says it somewhere in here, but it has trivia about the case, and it was last updated June 21st, 1997. And it's just still here. Someone's paying for this webpage, and it's got all these little trivia questions. So let me make sure that I can load these. Okay. So first question for you, Mom. Let's go ahead. Let's start you off here. Which attorney went to jail?
Oh, during the trial? I think not during the trial.
No, it wasn't during the trial. I think it was before the trial. It was when. I guess the question would be better phrased as which attorney had been to jail.
Oh, F. Lee Bailey.
Yes, it is F. Lee Bailey. He went to jail for refusing to turn over $25 million from a drug dealing client. His former client, Patty Hearst, was delighted. Christopher Darden and Marsha Clark referred to F. Lee as Flea.
Yeah, he did.
He was a piece of shit. And that I love that part on the show too, where they're making fun of him because Robert Shapiro and Robert Shapiro defended F. Lee Bailey in the longest DUI case in American history. Also, F. Lee Bailey, that story is true about him telling Christopher Darden he had a dick like a field mouse. Right before
dickless field mouse.
Yeah, he whispered, "You're not gonna have him try on the glove because you're a dickless field mouse or something." Right before, and that's why Christopher Darden was like, "Okay, try it on." He'd been egged on, you know. Let's see. Oh God. How many? Wait, this isn't. Some of these have to be old because they're from 1997. Who had breast implants?
Probably Nicole.
Probably Nicole. Let me check here. Nicole Brown Simpson had breast implants. It turns out, who made this? It sounds like somebody, probably a white dude made this page, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm 2 for 2 so far.
All right, let's go through here. Who was once married to a former Mouseketeer?
Oh, well, I don't know about that one. Married to a former mouse.
It was Jack Gallardi, OJ's manager.
I have no idea. That's pretty obscure.
Okay, let's see here. Who was hit with a palimony suit?
Oh, I think Johnny Cochran was.
Yep, Johnny Cochran was hit with a palimony suit by his mistress. She sued for the support of her son. The son is named Johnny Cochran Jr., which ought to be a clue. This guy's cheeky. Let's see here. Who advised OJ to fire Robert Shapiro?
Johnny Cochran.
Nope.
Really?
Nope. Do you know, Ben? Can you guess?
Was it Robert?
No. It was Eric Menendez. Shapiro had handled the extradition of Menendez
that
from
trial was
Israel.
going on at the same time, wasn't it?
No, I think it happened before because he
Okay.
mentions it as one of it. He's like, I handled Menendez. Robert Shapiro loved defending criminals, and getting them plea deals. Who was accused of being a sick little puppy, and who made the accusation?
A sick little puppy.
Think Dream Team.
You're a sick little puppy. I don't know.
F. Lee Bailey accused Robert Shapiro of being a sick little puppy.
It's too bad because probably would have put him in
Which
jail.
lawyer vowed to never speak with which other lawyer ever again?
Probably Shapiro and F. Lee.
Yeah, Robert Shapiro vowed to never speak with F. Lee Bailey again. They must have had an explosive little blowout.
Yeah, I read that on the show, well, in real life, Shapiro and Cochran didn't dislike each other as much as they do on the show.
Yeah.
And that Shapiro and F. Lee Bailey had
They
a much bigger
really
falling
liked-
Oh,
out.
Yeah.
They really disliked each other. I'm pretty sure F. Lee used to have these buckskin jackets and big
Yeah, you were
coat-
talking about that.
and
that
they
he would
don't
dress
show
up.
that. Yeah.
Because, he sounded pretty insane.
He was very flamboyant. Say
Let's
the
see
least.
here. We can't have snakes in the bed trying to sleep with us. Who said that and about whom?
Maybe Marshall Clark said that about somebody.
This person's obsessed with this feud. Robert Shapiro said it about F. Lee Bailey. We can't have snakes in the bed trying to sleep. They call each other snakes and puppies. You're a puppy. Well, you're a snake. Damn it. A great little tete-a-tete
You know what's
there.
strange is Barry Sheck is on those innocence things too. Try to get people out of prison. I just don't understand. I guess money talks.
Who represented victims of the Oklahoma bombing?
Oh, did F. Lee?
Johnny Cochran
Johnny
is
Cochran?
representing victims of the Oklahoma City bombing. Along with Oklahoma City lawyer John Merritt, Cochran sued ICEI Explosives, the manufacturers of the ammonium nitrate fertilizer that was used in the bomb.
Did he win?
I don't know, but that seems like a strange,
That's obscure.
strange way to. We're suing the people that we made the bombs with. That lawyer on Seinfeld he's supposed to be like a parody of Johnny Cochran, isn't he?
Yeah, he
the
is.
one that always defends Kramer.
Kramer.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. We're gonna sue the people who made the explosive stuff. That's what we're gonna do. They caused the Oklahoma City bombing. Johnny Cochran, cool for bringing up race, talking about race. I still think that he was not a good person. I mean, the way that he treated his ex-wife, the way he treated his mistress during that time, the way he treated Marshall Clark during the trial. Was just very sexist. I think his crusade was cool that he because the Mark Furman tapes were important. That was a big deal, and don't just nod slightly at that. That was fucked up, Mom. That you have to admit. If you were a black person,
Okay, if
that
I was a
would be
black
so
person,
fucked up
yeah,
to
that
hear.
would be. But I still
Yes.
wouldn't. I still wouldn't think that OJ was innocent because of something Mark Furman.
Well, I know, but I'm saying that that was
It was so improbable.
when you have the nation's attention, I kind of can get why Johnny Cochran would want to focus on that. So let's go ahead really quick. Let's talk about some of the news stuff. Let's start with some of the older stuff. I have some news stories here, and then we can go into Ben has a couple of news stories. This one I kind of wanted to talk about, even though it's just so tabloid bullshit. Like I just feel bad even saying it. Some people think Khloe Kardashian is OJ's daughter. So let me read this really quick.
What?
This is from Mike.com.
Seriously?
Kris Jenner's first husband was Robert Kardashian, one of Simpson's defense attorneys. We know that Jenner was good friends with both Simpson and his ex-wife, In an interview, she told People that they were two of the best friends I have ever had in my entire life, and that they were my family. It's this close relationship that set the rumor mill turning. According to Pop Dust, both women Robert Kardashian married after his divorce from Jenner alleged that Khloe Kardashian was not his biological daughter. She has a darker complexion than either of her two sisters, and her height is more proportionate to Simpsons than to the Kardashians, Pop Dust reported. And while Jenner took a maternity test on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, proving that Khloe Kardashian was her daughter, Khloe Kardashian has even joked about the rumor Simpson is her dad, saying that during a hosting stint on Chelsea Lately in 2014, I really hope that's not the case because I did fuck him once. Jesus, Khloe.
Oh,
Simpson
really?
has denied the rumor.
Gross.
But according to Pop Dust, his manager Norman Pardue once said that the paternity theory was within the realm of possibility. Khloe's nemesis Amber Rose would tend to agree. Rose used the allegation as ammo during a public feud with the reality TV star, which isn't evidence of anything except for the fact that this particular conspiracy theory is a fairly prevalent one. Amber Rose tweets, "You think because your dad was a professional football player that got away with murder, you're better than me, girl? Han? Yeah, she said Han. Like Han.
You ain't shoot first this time, Han.
You guys are trying to agitate the pug. I'm over here. I'm trying to tell you a story
She
about.
just reached down underneath there and she viciously.
I know
attacked.
she's chewing on a bone. She gets all territorial.
No, it's a corn cob.
Where did she get a corn cob?
I don't
From
know.
outside in the compost pit?
She tried. She
God.
tried to bite Ben.
Okay, sorry. I apologize, people. But yeah, so there's that. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Khloe being low key.
I can't imagine. That's really creepy that she would even screw him.
I don't think she had sex with. I think that was a joke. Mom.
Yeah, when
It was
would
a
that
Chelsea
have
Lately
happened?
joke.
Yeah, when
In
would
that
that even
time
Yeah, you're
frame,
right. He's been in prison for quite some time now. He's up for parole this year, I think.
Yeah, well,
Hopefully they won't give it to him.
he's whatever. I don't think that he's OJ. I don't know. I don't think she's OJ's
Plus,
kid.
they haven't gone into that confession that he screamed out to Rosie Greer when he was down there. That's been repressed.
I know we don't. Yeah, the Rosie Greer thing.
And they're never going to bring that up.
But yeah. So let's see. OJ. Well, there's the theories. We talked a little about that. Some people think a neo-Nazi group did it, like murder her.
Sure.
But yeah, so there's lots of theories out there. Ben has a story about one investigation discovery.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do have that. It has been announced that Martin Sheen will executive produce Hard Evidence, OJ's
Love
Innocence.
What?
Yeah, that's the title. Hard Evidence, OJ is Innocence. A new crime series that will attempt to show that OJ is innocent.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming next year to Investigation Discovery. So they're gonna try and prove OJ's
Martin
innocent.
Sheen is on that side. Of course, he has that crazy Charlie Sheen
Yeah,
with
that's
his
true.
tiger blood and all that crap. So who knows?
Oh, Martin Sheen's on the case.
I can't
You
believe.
didn't think you knew everything about the OJ trial.
I
until
didn't. That's
Martin
amazing.
Sheen came along and proved
Martin
you
Sheen,
wrong.
he's gonna have another heart attack. Is what he's gonna
Martin
have.
Sheen sounds like he probably was friends with OJ back in
He
the
must have been.
in the early '90s.
Is anybody go visit him out in that godforsaken
Oh,
jail
okay.
he's in? It's in the middle of nowhere.
I know it wasn't you. It was just like in the game. Or wait, is Michael Douglas in the game?
Michael
I think Michael
Douglas.
Douglas is in the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so yeah, that's coming to TV series.
Yeah.
But then let's talk about the newest thing that everyone's kind of talking about right now. Ben's
What's
got
that?
another story.
What's that?
Which is, there was a knife found on OJ's former property.
But it came back with negative results, I heard.
That is true.
What were the results?
The
I don't think
LAPD is saying that it's not the knife from the murder case.
Mm-hmm.
I've got this highlighted here. The small size of the blade was among many issues undermining its potential as the murder weapon.
That's what they said.
Uh,
But they said it was like a
Wow.
6-inch blade, and when they described that, they said it was. I thought it was a 5-inch blade they found. But
You know, I was expecting it to be the real knife. I was like expecting them to be like, well, we fucked up. I mean, we know we fucked up, but That's like, wow. I wonder what knife. Who knows? It could just be from any. It was found in some guy's house. Like some guy was like, yeah.
They found it at
Some
OJ,
construction
OJ's,
worker gave it to me.
No, they found it at OJ's old house in Brentwood.
Yeah, I know. Construction worker said that's where he found it. We don't know. He gave it to a cop. Said that. But okay, so we're winding down here. We talked about the show a good deal and how good it is. I'm excited to the last episode's airing in a couple of days. At the time of this recording.
Maybe I'll get this podcast up in time.
It's like Romeo and Juliet. You know the ending to Romeo and Juliet when you go into it, but it's still gonna be hard to watch. Because I really do think that OJ did it in the end. I can't deny the Occam's razor.
Yeah.
I just can't deny it.
Yeah, exactly.
Robert Kardashian on the show has he's like, what? There's nobody else. Like he was Robert Kardashian is such a sweetheart of a man. I feel bad for him. I think he was a good guy. He just was sticking up for his friend, and he started to see that it was, probably him. Although, who knows, maybe Robert Kardashian did hide evidence. If he did, then he sucks.
Yeah. Maybe the fabricating evidence conspiracy goes all the way up the chain to, the whole DA were in on it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just appalled that Martin Sheen is like, I'm losing respect for him by the moment.
Are you looking this up right now?
Yeah, I was looking that up. They don't know what he's going to say, but they just hope he comes up with something better than a drug cartel.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's Martin Sheen. It zooms in on his face all seriously. He's like, what if I told you that at that Rockingham estate back in 1994, there were aliens?
Yeah.
It's like an alien theory.
Well, he's the one that said 9/11 was a conspiracy, so he's into that.
Oh, Martin Sheen. It's easy to see why Charlie Sheen is the way he is.
Yeah,
too.
That's very true. They look alike. They're like Patty Duke and her cousin.
That's true.
They look alike.
Imagine,
they act alike.
Emilio Estevez is just like, I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah.
Use my last name.
Thank goodness nobody knows who I am.
And then I died with the Brat Pack. Yeah. So let's wrap it up a little bit here. Mom, do you want to promote anything? Any of your work lately, or you're a writer? She's been writing.
Yeah, I write. I write for Upworks.
Erotica and romance.
I write erotica. I do have a few books out, and they're Lucia Perverse, LUCIA PERVERSE. If you want to buy
on
them,
Amazon.
On Amazon or Smashwords if you want to buy them. They're
Erotica writer.
They're cheap.
Super cool stuff.
But
I haven't read it because I just haven't gotten over the whole. It's erotica written by my mom thing.
But right now,
Also,
I
I'm
write
gay,
for
so
others.
it's not for me.
Yeah, I write for others now, and they sell my stories.
Yeah, she the Shark Boy story, so spice, so choice.
Mm-hmm. And I'm writing a story now, Hotel of Nymphos. So.
Hotel of Nymphos. That sounds very promising.
Yes, it does.
My favorite story that you wrote on Amazon was the title was The Taming of Alicia, or Wild Innocence: The Taming of Alicia, or no, The Schooling of Alicia.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. It just sounds like an Amish fiction novel. That's like the titles of all of those Amish fiction books. When I worked at the library, it was like Trisha's Path to Innocence or whatever.
I have a lot of good ones. Milky Suburban Mom. Elevator Feet. Anal Adventures.
It's Elevator Feet, Stripping for Fun. It's a story about a man and a woman who get stuck in an elevator and he shrimps her feet. Like he sucks on her toes, which is the coolest. It just sounds sexy as hell.
But anyway, if you're into erotica,
yeah, check it out. Check out her work. Mindy Carmichael's how you can find her.
No. Lucia Perverse.
Lucia Perverse, but Mindy, what about on Upworks?
Lucia Perverse.
Okay, that's your name on Upworks?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay, alright. Well, thanks all for listening to Simple Lovers. We'll be back soon. We're probably going to do Star Trek The Next Generation soon.
Alright, thanks for interviewing me.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Bye-bye.
She's going to walk back to her room now. That's the sound of her walking away. The dog following her. Yeah, we'll probably do The Next Generation next, probably.
Yeah.
Or no, The Walking Dead. Either one of those.
I'm prepared for that too.
Yeah, I'm not prepared for the next generation. I have a hard time with Star Trek. It's very hard for me. I'm Star Trek intolerant, and it's something I've struggled with my whole life. I can't enjoy it as much as my friends, and I feel like an asshole.
You needed like an older sister who watched it and could just like explain stuff to you.
I love my mom shouting about Star Trek because she loves Star Trek.
I loved it when it first came out, but I haven't watched the new.
The 60s series and the
60s
movies.
series,
The movie about the whales. Every time that one comes on about the whales, Mom turns it on.
The one about the whales when you're in San Francisco. Spock is like, groovy man, or fuck you, asshole.
What? That sounds hilarious. Alright, well, we'll see you guys again soon. Keep loving stuff.
Yep.
Loving stuff.